dt is equal to negative 10e to the negative t halves, and y of 0 is 20. What is the value of y of 6? So one way that we can do this problem is to do a indefinite integral. So if we integrated negative 10e to the negative t halves and got the integral of that and did the plus c and then used this initial condition to solve for c, that would allow us to do this problem. But we learned in chapter 9 sort of a different way of thinking about this. We could say the integral from 0 to 6 of negative 10e to the negative t halves dt is equal to, if I were to integrate this dy, I would get y, and I'd be evaluating it as y of 6 minus y of 0. So what I need to do is actually go and do this integral. I'm going to take this negative 10 out. So I get negative 10, the integral from 0 to 6 of e to the negative t halves dt. This is a 6, not a 16. And then what I'm going to have to do here is u substitute. So I'm going to make u equal to negative t halves, which will make du negative 1/2 dt. So I have to multiply the inside of this by a negative 1/2, which means I'll multiply the outside by a negative 2. So I'll have 20, the integral from 0 to 6, of e to the u du. Now keep in mind this is really t equals 6 and t equals 0. Not huge because I'm going to end up changing this back to being in terms of t anyways. The integral of e to the u is e to the u, so this becomes 20 e to the u. And again, I'm going to change that u to negative t halves, so 20 e to the negative t halves, evaluated from 0 to 6. So if I substitute 6 into this, I get 20 e to the negative third minus 20 e to the 0. Now e to the 0, anything to the 0 is just 1. So what we're left here with is 20 e to the negative third minus 20. And if you look at your answers, you'd say, well, oh, wait a second, none of those match those. But that was just the integral of this negative 10 e to the negative t halves dt. I still have this equal to y of 6 minus y of 0. And it tells us that y of 0 is equal to 20. So now I'd have 20 e to the negative third minus 20 equals y of 6 minus 20. So add that 20 over, it'll cancel. So y of 6 is equal to 20 e to the negative third, which is letter B.